Good morning, my fellow Michiganders. Good morning, my fellow Americans. Happy 2024 in the month of January. My goodness gracious, the Grassroots Army, or what I like to call now, hashtag GRASS, GRAS, Grassroots Army Strong. We have a great several months planned for all of you as we dissect the pillars of what it takes to be Grassroots Army strong, physically strong, mentally strong, spiritually strong, and of course, financially strong. It's Friday. Oh my goodness gracious. It is Friday. I was going to say it's Monday, but I don't know where I am half the time, but it is Friday. So happy Friday to all of you. And at the end of the week, you get Slap Happy Garrett because I'm very excited for the weekend. But my goodness gracious, before I get into your ego, my ego, everybody's ego, I really want to talk about the live that I'm going to be doing on January 15th with the interview of Jeremy Brown, Green Beret, who is rotting in federal prison. We interviewed him from federal prison, and I will be going live with that interview on January 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I urge all of you to tune into that live. Now, it will be uploaded afterwards on all of our platforms, so don't worry if you miss it. It will be there, but you'll be able to interact with the rest of the Grassroots Army if you are watching it live. And we're going to be live on, well, we're live right now on Twitter, all of our Facebook profiles, our new YouTube channel, because YouTube took me down several months ago. You guys all know that, with our 200 and almost 50,000 subscribers. So we're at, I think, 2,700 subscribers right now. So we're slowly getting back up to that 250,000. But you know me, I've been banned for life several times, kicked off of social media platforms. But I will continue to do what I do best, is up-to-date, accurate, truthful information. And we're poking the bear right now. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens in my life as I continue to announce that we're dropping this interview. The interview is long. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. And there is a lot of information. So we did our best to really create a story for all of you to really tune in and just, it's scary. It truly is. When you listen to what this guy has to say, because he talks about not only his recruitment, that the FBI tried to recruit him because this is what he did for a living. And when he said no, they basically went after him in the long run. And he's going to paint the whole picture of what happened before January 6th, after January 6th, all the way up to his arrestment. This guy ran for Congress in Florida. And we created one heck of an interview, and we're excited to drop it. But I'm not excited because the FBI has already come to my house, but I'm interested to see what they're going to do to me for exposing this. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully nothing. But I just can't help myself when I feel that you guys deserve to know the information, especially with everything that corporate media, their narrative that they push out. I'm going to do my darndest to get you guys the information. So he's got a hell of a story. It's long, but it's well worth the listen. That's for sure, because information is power. It truly is. Information is power. And the more information you get, the more aware that you can get, the better chance that you're going to be able to react when the time is right. So I have a great lineup of folks that are going to be coming on the show over the next several months. A lot of good speakers. Clay from the Reawakening Tour is going to be on again. We have Eddie Penny from the Unafraid, the former Navy SEAL, who has a great story about his path to Christ. We have a motivational coach, a great guy named Joe White that's going to be coming on. He coached me in the past. We're going to be doing lots of things. And I'm excited for all of you. I truly am. It's because as we build our own pillars of being Grassroots Army Strong, we're really going to make a difference. And that's the whole purpose of this organization that I'm building right now, is activating all of you. Ordinary folks doing extraordinary things. And those extraordinary things can be a wide range of things, from anyone out there who's willing to put themselves out there and run for politics. God bless you. That's going to be a branch, obviously. Improving oneself, your spirituality, as a better mother, a father, as a human being, all these things. That's what is going to entail what it means to be Grassroots Army Strong, because you have to stay alert and stay alive. You have to be physically strong, mentally strong, spiritually strong, and financially strong, because when evil comes knocking on your door, you're going to be in a better position than if you weren't. physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially strong. So that's going to be my kind of goal in this thing over the next year, because 2024 is going to be interesting. How about that? Right? It's going to be interesting. So make sure that you're following us on all of our platforms. Grassroots Army is everywhere. Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Truth, Instagram, Threads, which is a garbage platform, by the way. And of course, Twitter X. I tell you what, if you haven't been on Twitter X, make sure that you go on Twitter, because there is a lot of great information being shared over there. Elon Musk has done an amazing job to really cut down censorship. You can talk about a lot of the things that you can't talk about on other platforms, and it's been amazing. So if you're on Twitter X, make sure that you follow us at Grassroot Army, okay? The Grassroots with the plural is my old campaign Twitter, and I lost access to that, so we had to redo it, and I'm building that platform again. So it's Grassroot, singular. Okay, Grassroot Army, or just look up Garrett Soldano and I'll come up with underneath Grassroot Army. And make sure you follow us, because we are pushing out a lot of great information that necessarily I can't really talk about on Facebook and YouTube, because I'll get banned yet again. Okay, so before we go into your ego and my ego, let's listen in to a little clip of the interview with Jeremy Brown that I will be dropping on January 5th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here we go. I'm a political prisoner of war, illegally held for over 765 days and counting, in maximum security for a long list of fabricated crimes, with the intent of punishing me for my real crime, exposing the truth about the FBI's role in the January 6th attack on the American people. An attack by those who seized control of our system of government years ago. He is a Special Forces operative, a Green Beret, and he was arrested for his role in the January 6th shenanigans, as I'm going to call them, because he has a different story than what was told by the corporate media. He has a different story than what has been told by these corrupt politicians. It is a long interview, but I think it's very important to listen to every single detail. Yeah, we're really excited for that interview to drop. I'm not going to lie. Our team at AZ Business Solutions, I have to give them a huge shout out. Man, they worked their butt off on this, because when you edit, I mean, it was a 3-hour interview. It was a long day, but we had to edit it down. But my goodness gracious, they did a great job with the editing. We put video clips in there. So we're really, really proud of the work that the AZ Business Solutions have done over there in Owasso, Michigan. Tony Nash and team, you guys are amazing. They've been amazing throughout the entire campaign. And somebody just asked, January 5th or 15th? January 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's in the description, and you'll be seeing me post it with all the little clips like that, all up to date. Why am I not releasing it on January 6th? Well, you can only imagine how censored everything that you talk about on January 6th or leading up to January 6th is going to be. I ran into that in the past. And so I decided so we could get this story out, because I'm really, really trying to get someone a lot more important than I am. That's for sure. Somebody like Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino, Joe Rogan, somebody to pick this guy's story up, because this guy's story needs to be told. And those folks are professionals. They can do a whole hell of a lot better than what we can as of right now. I'm hoping to get up to that level. But man, that's why I need you guys' help. The Grassroots Army's watching. Make sure that you're tagging those folks. Anyone that you know that should be running with this story, make sure that you share this video to their timelines. You tag them on any other platform that you're on, and make sure, hey, you need to interview Jeremy Brown. You need to interview Jeremy Brown. That's how you create a buzz. And with those social media influencers, when they get a lot of people hammering them with a subject, they're like, hey, let's look into it. And that's how we can get Jeremy Brown's story out there. Jeremy Brown's actually been interviewed by a lot of folks. If you go to his website, I forgot what his website is offhand, but I'll have it for you at the time of the interview. That's for sure when we drop it. But he's been interviewed a lot, Rumble and a lot of these, smaller organizations, which is fine, but we need to bring it to a next step. And that's my role in this. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's why we put a lot of energy, time, and money into this interview, so we can push it out to hopefully get somebody like a Tucker Carlson or a Joe Rogan or a Dan Bongino or someone out there, Charlie Kirk, even Charlie LaDuff in Detroit, to get this guy on and interview him, because I think it needs to be told. I mean, it's once you hear a story, you just, like I said, you're going to be like shocked, you're going to be in awe, and then you're going to be like, holy cow, they do come for you and they'll ruin your life. They'll ruin your life. And so we're going to push it. You know me, I'm going to do everything that I can. So let's get to something a little bit more positive, because I just don't want to talk negative. And let's talk about the changes in 2024. Like I said before, I do not believe in New Year's resolutions. A lot of people do. It's not right or wrong. It's just not me. I think every day is the best day of your life, and instantly you can make a change. So if you haven't made a change on January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 5th, or 6th, or 7th, it's okay. You can start now. You can start right now. And whatever that change may be, whatever your goals or your dreams are you have to start now. Don't wait for it. Start now. Little actions end up being big actions. Okay. And so a lot of you have jumped on the Grassroots Army Strong Challenge in some way or somehow. Maybe it's become, a stronger person physically. Maybe you're hitting the gym, you're walking, maybe you're trying to lean up, lose some weight. Lean and mean is the way to go, obviously. So you're cutting back on calories and you're doing eating lifestyle changes, which I all believe in. But my whole big thing is with people making long-lasting change, because we're all guilty of this. We start something, and 30, 60, 90 days, we go right back to the old behaviors and attitudes, and we undo everything that we have worked so hard to accomplish. That's just what happens, okay? That's normal, but let's make it not normal, and let's stay true to what we're trying to do. And it takes discipline. It takes discipline, not motivation. I was a big believer in motivation. I mean, you're either motivated or you're not. And if you're not motivated, then you need to create successful habits, right? Successful habits, and that's discipline. You got to be disciplined. And as you continue to follow through and dominate those successful habits, whether that be anything, drinking more water, eating well, getting up early and exercising in the gym, or getting up early and reading your Bible, or getting up early and reading a book, I don't care what it is. Those little successful habits will evolve into rituals, okay? So when you have a ritual, it's pretty much ingrained in you. That's what you do. It's like eating or drinking water every single day. It's a ritual to do that. You're going to do it. You have to do it. And that's what we need to evolve this kind of new lifestyle for you. So that's what I want to bring to the table. So whatever you're trying to do right now, a lot of people on our last live talked about, they've been sober, they've given up smoking. I mean, I love all of that. I mean, that's what this is about, long-lasting change. And when you do that, that's going to lead you down a path of success, whatever that definition is to all of you, but it's very powerful, okay? But here's what I want to talk about today. See, we all get excited when we initially start, all right? You see them in the gym. Now, I've been working out in the gym for a long time, and coincidentally, in January, I see half the gym is all new faces. And the majority of the folks, they'll stay in there for 30 to 60 days, and then they slowly start falling off. And then by the end of the year, you see the old gym rats like me who have made lifting a ritual. Okay, it's what we do, right? But let's talk about why this happens, because you all get excited initially on any challenge that you want to do for yourself, or any type of improvement that you're trying to do with your body or your mind or your spirit. And you get excited and you're following through. And day one, you're excited. You're going there. Yes. Day two, you're doing it. Yes. Day three happens. Day four, you're still on the train, right? Then day 7, day 10, day 20 happens. And then you're like, man, I'm just too tired. I just don't want to give up. Man. I just want to sleep in once. And watch out when that happens. And why does that happen? Well, let's dissect it. All right. And this is not for everyone, but this sometimes happens. It's happened even to me. Is you have this thing called your ego. All right. And your ego it can be, it can kick you in the butt. There's no doubt about it, but it can also be your worst enemy, because in the beginning, here's how your ego is. So I want you to kind of think of your ego as a 2-year-old child. All right. It kicks and screams a lot, right? It rears up really quick, and it'll be your biggest cheerleader, or it'll be your biggest critic in times of success and times of failure. So initially what happens is you're like, hey, let's take weight loss. Okay. I want to lose 40 pounds. And your ego goes, what? We're going to lose 40 pounds? This is great. This is fantastic. This is all within the 24 hours. So you're watching videos, you're doing research, you're cleaning out your fridge, you're throwing out the chocolate, you're throwing out the booze if you're a drinker, you're doing all this stuff, and your ego's like, yeah, baby, we're going to do it. Let's rock and roll. We're going to lose that 40 pounds. And day one, you're pumped. You're excited. You go in there and you just work yourself out in the gym. You're sweating everywhere. You're sore for the next several days. You're just like, man, I'm doing it. Day 2 happens. Day 3 happens. And somewhere along, day 4, day 7, day 8, somewhere, it's different for everyone. Maybe it's 30 days. Then your ego start kind of rear up and say, hey, wait a minute. I don't know if this was a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. It's taking a lot of discipline to get up at 5 a.m. It's taking a lot of discipline not to reach for that double butter burger from Culver's with a large fry and a double scoop of the flavor of the day. It's getting kind of difficult to say no to those peppermint mochas made with soy with whip from Starbucks, right? And man, maybe we can start having some cheat days or cheat meals. We can do that. You're doing good, 6, 7 days. This is the first red flag, folks, right? When you start having those urges like, hey, I've been doing a good job, you're patting yourself on the back and your ego's there going, hey, you've been doing a great job. You can cheat. You can go out. You can go out and get drunk, or you can go out and you can eat that cake, or you can eat that cheeseburger, or you can eat that big old cookie that's been staring at you that you hid in the back for times of crisis, right? That's what your ego does, all right? So it starts to plant in doubt with you. And so you have to control that little devil, because that's basically what he is. He's a devil. And he's trying to prevent you from reaching your success, because the devil does not want you to live a life full of abundance. He does not want you to tap into this beautiful thing called passion. So it kind of fools you along the way. It trips you up, because what the ego wants you to do, this devil, it wants you to eventually fail. And that's what happens. As you start to have cheat meals, which turns into cheat days, which turns into missing workouts, not following through with what your goals were, not following through with the right actions, not following through with discipline, the ego is going to be there, and he's going to start just throwing gasoline on the fire of low self-esteem. He's going to be in your ear, and he's going to say, I told you would fail. I told you. Why'd you even start this? Let's go back to the fat you. That was more fun. We could drink, we could eat, we could sleep in. Yeah, we make mistakes, we make a fool of ourselves, but it's okay. Let's just go back to that. And then it just starts weighing on you. And pretty soon you start missing workouts, you start eating a little more, and then several months down the road, what happens? You're right back to where you were. And most of the time, you're worse than where you were started. So instead of losing 40 pounds, you have to lose 50 or 60. And then we start to go into depression and the woe is me. And the ego's right there going, I told you so. I told you so. You shouldn't have done it. You got to learn from this. Let's not do this again. All right. And then as the months go down, you're kind of depressed. You're kind of running through the motions. And then you start getting excited again, because November's coming. You're going to get through the holidays. We're going to do it. We're going to make a change this time. And then New Year's Day happens, and bam, you're right back in the saddle. Here we go. We got to lose 70 pounds now. Last year was 40, but now it's 70. And then it's a vicious cycle. You get where I'm getting at? All right. So over time, you start to just not live the life that you deserve. And so we all go through this. Some people have bigger egos than others. I'm going to admit, I got a huge ego. I got to sit that little son of a bitch on the bench every chance I get. He's always rearing up. He's always saying, we need to fight back. We need to say this. We need to say that. It's literally, if you look at it, the ego is pretty much the devil. Okay. So you calm it down, you be aware of it. So my suggestion to all of you is, when these things start to happen in your life, don't allow it. That's where discipline comes in. And I guarantee you this, for those of the folks who've drank in the past, who've tried to quit drinking, the same thing happens. Like when you quit drinking, you're doing good. And then there's that one night out. And then you're like, you know what? I've worked hard. I've done this for months. Yeah, I can have drink. I can control it now. And then they go drink. And then what happens? You never feel good the next morning. You never feel good. You feel depressed. Your anxiety comes back. You feel like garbage. Your self-esteem's going down because you gave in, right? But let's back up several hours before all that craziness happens. And let's say you decided to say, no, I'm not going to drink. How would you have felt that next morning? Those of us who have went through that, you feel amazing that next morning. You're up. You're congratulating yourself. You're fired up. Your energy's there. You have a clear head. There's no regret. There's no guilt. There's none of that, right? That's everything. And drinking, just one example. Same thing with reaching for that double cheeseburger, all right? Or smoking, or any habit. Maybe you've given up porn. Porn is very addictive, right? That's like the downfall of our society right now, especially with young men, is what it does to the mind, everything else. Look at the research. No matter what it is, we all fill voids in our body with self-destructive behavior. That's what the majority of folks do, but you have to decide not to fill it with self-destructive behavior. You have to have the discipline to say, no, I'm not going to do it. And I guarantee you this, when you have the discipline to say no, and you get through that little witching hour, as I call it, that next morning when you wake up, I guarantee you 100% of the time, at least in my life, I've never looked back and say, man, I wish I would have drank last night. Man, I wish I would have got hammered last night. Man, I wish I would have had that double quarter pounder with cheese, my large fry, double scoop of the flavor day, and the water because it's healthy, right? You'll never do that. You'll be excited. You'll be proud of yourself. And that starts to build upon itself. So when you continue to say no and you continue to follow through with what your desired outcome what it is, whatever that may be, that's going to build you into who you need to be. Your potential, that inner greatness that every single one of you that are watching right now has. That's how it works. And so as you're going through this second week, you may start having that self-doubt. Man, this is getting hard. Man, I kind of miss eating and drinking and smoking and looking at porn and doing drugs and going out and not doing what I need to do. You know, you're going to have that doubt. It's normal. It's natural. Be aware of it, but don't give into it. Don't give into it. And then over time, the more you say no to those self-destructive behaviors and the more you start filling it with positive stuff and what you're trying to do to accomplish it, you're going to reach #GRAS, GRAS. Grassroots Army Strong. All right. Now, will you fall off the wagon? Will you cheat? Sure, we're human, but don't quit. All right. That's what people do is they feel that if they make a few mistakes along their journey, that, hey, oh gosh, I suck. I'm just going to give it all in. No. You understand when you look at a tree, it's very rare that you see trees pretty much grow straight up and down. Like they're curved. Right? They curve a little bit. If you look at trees, they do. Especially if a tree's out in the middle of nowhere with no other trees to protect it. Interesting concept. When you're only tree, you usually don't see it straight up in the air if it's survived for a long period of time, especially these old ones. You got all this curvature going up and there's branches going off. That means that tree has survived what? The storm, the wind, winters, brutal summers, drought, right? All that. That's what those things are when you are going towards your desired outcome. Hey, you don't sail in a straight line, folks, to Tokyo, right? If you're leaving from California and you're going to I'm going to go to Japan, right? It's not a straight line. It's going to be like this because there's storms, there's wind. You're going to get off course. Things are going to break down, but you don't stop. And that's what I want to point out today is like when you feel those struggles, get over them. Have the discipline to get through them, and you'll be a step closer to reaching your destination, whatever that may be. Okay. So not only do you have to stay disciplined, but you have to take the action. Okay. And that's what God wants. You have to do more than pray. I believe in prayer. I pray every morning and every night and throughout the day. Okay. But God wants you to have action. Okay. Don't just pray that I want to lose 40 pounds, God, give me the strength to have the discipline to do the necessary action to reach my desired outcome of 40 pounds or whatever that may be. Okay. So just some things that I have dealt with on my journey. And I still deal with these things. Hey, I don't have it all figured out. I'll be the first one to admit I make mistakes, but you have to get back in the saddle and you have to keep pushing forward. And that's what it means to be Grassroots Army Strong. That's what life's about. You take away the L and the E in that word life, what do you get? You get if. If you can be the person that you're destined to be, if you can be the person that you all know that's in the reflection of that mirror. All right. So handle your ego, keep it in check. Don't fuel the ego. Don't buy into the garbage, but say no to those self-destructive behaviors. And I guarantee when you wake up the next morning, you're going to feel amazing. And that is when you will start to see the path that you're supposed to be on. And it's an exciting time. I'm on that path right now. I feel amazing. My nutrition's getting dialed in. I'm exercising like a banshee. Everything in my life is flowing. We're doing well. We're inspiring people. My clinic's on fire. It's just great. It's a great place to be. And there'll be trials and tribulations, especially when you're trying to expose the FBI. Trust me, I'm staying alert and staying alive. And that's why it's so important that we're all going through this right now, because this is preparing me for what's coming physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially strong. So if something gets thrown in my way, I'm going to deal with it. And then we're going to deal with it together as a movement, because that's what it's about. And that's what you have behind you. You have a movement of people, folks. You're not doing this alone. We're all in this together. Most of you I've met on the campaign trail. We're all in this together. And that's just the way it's going to be. Just because I'm not running for governor anymore does not mean that I'm not accessible and that we're not going to do things as a movement. We're going to continue to push. We're pushing from here on out. I'm going to continue to push until God calls me up to the big leagues. Then I'm hoping to build such a successful organization that I hand it down to someone else to take it even further, make it better than I could. That's what God wants. And that's why it's an exciting time to be a part of this grassroots army. So hammer down, continue to say no to self-destructive behavior, continue to keep your ego in check, follow through with the discipline and the action. And I guarantee you, as you do that every single day, you are going to start to see the glimpse of how powerful you are. You are powerful beyond measure. You truly are. Okay. So look forward to Jeremy Brown's interview on January 15th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. If you're watching me live, that's exactly where you can watch it. So set your alarms, set your timers, and then hammer down. And we're going to do what we do best: inspire others, each one teach many, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Have a great day. God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan, of course, and always. God bless these United States.